It's often said that there's no such thing as a free lunch, but chewing gum might be the exception. According to the chewing gum manufacturer's website, people have been enjoying gum-like substances for centuries all over the world. For some people, gum is all about the taste. For others, it's more about avoiding bad breath, curbing their appetite, or easing anxiety. Many of these early versions were made from tree resin, sweet grasses, grains, and waxes. In the US, chewing gum has been popular since the beginning. Early colonists in New England picked up the habit from Native Americans, learning to chew the resin from spruce trees. But hold on, quick question. Name a gum manufacturer. Chances are you'll choose Wrigley. Yep, the candy company that has a baseball stadium named after it. A gum titan that's been around since the 1890s. But how did the company go from soap and baking powder suppliers to the world's largest gum manufacturer? The story begins in 1861, when William Mills Wrigley Jr. was born in Philadelphia. As a kid, he spent time working at his father's soap factory, but when he turned 29, he decided it was time to strike out on his own. With just $32 in his pocket, he moved to Chicago and started selling his family's soap. Being a sharp salesman, he quickly realized that soap had pretty low profit margins. If he wanted to succeed, he needed more customers. So he came up with a clever idea of offering free items with every purchase. One of those freebies happened to be baking powder. And here's the twist. At that time, baking powder was in high demand due to the baking boom happening in the mid-19th century. Before long, people wanted more baking powder than soap. So Williams made a smart switch and focused on selling it. But he didn't stop there. This time, he threw in chewing gum as a freebie. And guess what? The gum took off. It quickly became more popular than baking powder. So Williams switched gears again and made chewing gum his main product, launching it with two flavors, spearmint and juicy fruit. In 1907, the US was facing a tough financial crisis. And for most people, chewing gum wasn't exactly a necessity. But William Wrigley Jr. didn't panic. Instead, he saw it as a chance to rise above the competition. While others were cutting back and playing it safe, William took a massive risk and mortgaged everything he owned to spend $250,000 on advertising. It was a bold move during such uncertain times, but it paid off spectacularly. Within just 3 years, Wrigley's sales flew from $170,000 to over $3 million. William understood that chewing gum was often an impulse buy, but that wasn't enough for him. He was determined to turn gum into something people would buy regularly. To do this, he began marketing his gum not just as a treat, but as something beneficial, claiming it could help clean teeth and soothe the throat after meals. Then came one of William's most daring marketing stunts. Under William Wrigley Jr.'s leadership, the company quickly expanded. In 1911, he bought the Zeno Gum Company, which gave him the ability to produce gum in-house. This was a game changer because it meant Wrigley could now control both the quality and production of his gum. With this new control, his signature products like spearmint and doublemint became household names. In 1915, he mailed a pack of Wrigley's gum to every home listed in the US telephone directory, which had over 1.5 million addresses. And he didn't stop there. By 1919, he had sent gum to 7 million homes across the country. His philosophy was clear: tell them quickly and tell them often. This aggressive marketing strategy paid off in a big way, helping to cement Wrigley's as a household name. Throughout the company's journey, Williams' bold marketing tactics set them apart and led to their massive success. And how can we forget Wrigley Field? The home of the Chicago Cubs first opened its doors in 1914 with a game between the Chicago Federals and the Kansas City Packers. Originally called Cubs Park, after William Wrigley Jr. bought the team in 1918, it was renamed Wrigley Field in 1926. The park is famous for its ivy-covered outfield walls, added in 1937, and its old-school manual scoreboard. Wrigley Field has seen plenty of memorable moments, including Babe Ruth's legendary called shot in the 1932 World Series. Over the years, it's been updated with modern touches, like lights for night games in 1988 and major upgrades in the 1060 project starting in 2014. Despite these changes, Wrigley Field remains a cherished symbol of Chicago's baseball heritage. After William Wrigley Jr. passed away in 1932, his son, Philip K. Wrigley, took over. And soon enough, World War II broke out. Wrigley faced challenges in getting the raw materials needed to make gum. But instead of halting production, they shifted gears and dedicated all their gum to the US military, highlighting its health benefits for soldiers, like helping to delay thirst. To make sure civilians didn't forget the brand while it was off store shelves, Philip Wrigley launched the Remember This Rapper ad campaign. This clever move kept Wrigley's gum visible during the war and built a strong emotional connection with consumers. This way, they stayed front and center even when supplies were limited. In 1961, William Wrigley III took over as CEO and expanded the company worldwide, setting up factories in 9 countries. He kept up with changing trends by launching sugar-free gum, like Extra in 1984, which helped secure Wrigley's strong position in the market. Under his leadership, Wrigley became known for its innovation. Fun fact, in 1974, a 10-pack of Juicy Fruit gum became the first product ever scanned with a UPC barcode. William Beau Wrigley IV took over after his father and continued expanding the company, focusing on sugar-free products and pushing into markets in Europe and Asia. In 2005, Beau made a big move by acquiring Lifesavers and Altoids from Kraft Foods for $1.5 billion, broadening Wrigley's product line. He also founded the Wrigley Science Institute to research the health benefits of chewing gum, boosting the brand's reputation even more. However, something unexpected happened to the company in 2006. In 2006, William Wrigley Jr. ended the family-run tradition by stepping down as CEO, marking the end of 4 generations of Wrigley leadership. For years, the Wrigley family stuck together, selling their products at fair prices and maintaining their place in the market. However, when it came to expanding beyond where they were, things slowed down. At the same time, Cadbury controlled 10.1% of the confectionery market, with rumors of a potential merger with Hershey that would make them the top candy company worldwide. But then something amazing happened. The billionaire Warren Buffett teamed up with Mars, one of the biggest candy giants around, to swoop in with a massive purchase plan. By 2008, Wrigley's market value hit $17.3 billion, catching the attention of Buffett and Mars. They stepped in, locking a $23 billion deal to acquire Wrigley, which was already the top player in the gum industry with $5.4 billion in sales that year. With Mars already owning famous brands like M&M's, Snickers, Starburst, and Twix, adding Wrigley's gum brands solidified Mars as the #1 confectionery company in the world. Warren Buffett has been a lifelong fan of Wrigley's chewing gum and Mars candy. Once he famously joked, "I've been conducting a 70-year taste test on the product since I was about 7 years old." Buffett's fondness for these iconic brands stems from his ability to understand their business models better than complex financial institutions. As he put it, "I understand a Wrigley or a Mars a whole lot better than I understand the balance sheet of some of the big banks. I know what I'm getting into, and with some of the large financial institutions, I don't know what's there." Buffett's confidence in the resilience of the Wrigley and Mars brands was unwavering. He believed there's nothing that can go wrong with something like the Wrigley or Mars brand. This conviction led him to provide crucial financial backing when Mars aimed to acquire Wrigley in 2008. Mars needed somebody they felt comfortable with. They knew the check would clear, and Buffett fit the bill perfectly. He invested $6.5 billion to help Mars secure the $23 billion deal, which united beloved candy bars like Snickers, M&M's, Juicy Fruit, and Lifesavers under one roof. The partnership proved profitable for both parties. In 2016, Mars bought out Buffett's stake in Wrigley, allowing it to take full control of the company. As Buffett reflected, both Mars and Berkshire have profited from our investment, and that's the way it should be. Buffett's lifelong love affair with Wrigley's and Mars, combined with his keen business sense, made him the ideal partner for Mars in its quest to dominate the confectionery world. There's a lot to take away from the Wrigley story, and much of it can still be applied in today's fast-changing business world. What do you think of Wrigley's marketing strategies? Would you use the same tactics? Let us know in the comments.